Welcome to the Public Speaking Experts Podcast with Elliot K. and Jose UCAR. Every week we bring the tips, tools, and strategies for you to become a world-class public speaker. We bring you guests, experts, and authorities in the field of public speaking to enrich you and enhance your public speaking journey. Remember to subscribe, rate, and comment. And now, please welcome your hosts, Elliot and Jose.
So let me get this right, Jose. We're recording today because you did a sickie. Is this right?
Sorry,
we're not recording on our normal day, but you did a sickie, and that is
there
why.
is terrible echo. There is terrible echo. I cannot hear a thing of what Elliot is saying, so I don't know what happened. Why are we recording today when we could have recorded last Monday, as we always do?
Because you did a sickie.
I did a sickie. Yes, people. And I'm going to tell you briefly about this.
No, it's okay. You did a sickie.
No.
You let the side down, and we couldn't record at all. And that's it, right? That's all there is to it. I can't believe you let me down. You know, here I am all lined up on Monday, ready to go. Oh, I'm not well. And then you slept all day. I mean, what's that all about?
Yes, I did, people. I did. And I slept all day. And what I experienced was a bit of burnout. So I'm only human. What can I say? Then, I'm being vulnerable here. I woke up that day. I started Sunday and I woke up and I just didn't have any energy left. And you know me. So I want to bring the best of me. And maybe you know what I'll do next time, Elliot. Then I'll turn up like that. And maybe you'll just see it's just, this gray image of Jose, which is me as well sometimes. And as you can see, Elliot K., if we look at Elliot right now, he's been happier and more excited before. There hasn't been any whoa, any shouting or anything. So it's a different version as well. Okay, so it's a bit of love.
Just because it hasn't been doesn't mean there won't be, right? Well, I'm sorry to hear you're burnt out, you're feeling tired, and you managed to sleep the whole Monday. I wish I knew what that felt like. But that's good. I'm glad you're back on your feet. And today we're recording the Public Speaking Expert Podcast Show. And I'm excited to be here. And I'm excited to bring the public speaking smackdown right here, right now. It is on like King Kong.
Yeah, I love that. I know the Star Sun.
So look, I think perfect bridge to what we're talking about today. We're talking about stories, we're talking about improvisation of stories, how we find stories. And I think this will make a good story one day, Jose, how you woke up feeling burnt out and then you carried on the Monday and you had to stop and you had to pause, you had to take time out, and that will make a great story. So as we're talking about it, by the way, in case you didn't know, you've listened to the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. In case you didn't know, you're watching the Public Speaking Expert Podcast. We also run the Public Speaking Expert Show on Clubhouse Monday to Thursday as well. I say we, I say I, and Jose now and then to do it.
No, I do 2 days a week for the time being, people.
Sometimes.
So
you didn't do on Monday, did you?
Well, I didn't do Monday, and I told you, Monday, something happened Monday, and I love the fact that you turned this into a story because there will be a story. But
boo!
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, wow. I do need... Do you see why I need the energy? Why I wanted to sleep that day? Because if I don't bring the energy here, I mean, he's going to crush me. It's just too much. Right. So you were saying, Elliot? Yeah, I'm sure. Just give it to me. Give it to me.
Just remember to also know, like, and trust, and leave us a comment, as well. Leave us a lovely review wherever you're watching, listening to this. If you're watching us on LinkedIn, also, why not send us a comment? But anyway, besides that, let's talk about storytelling. So today's about improvisational storytelling and where we can find stories and how we can expand stories and how we can add layers to story. So Jose, take it away about storytelling.
Whoa. Okay, people. First of all, and we decided to run with this topic today because so often on Clubhouse and on our coaching sessions, training and everything else, we get people saying, yeah, but, I don't have many stories. And the other issue is then people, yeah, but what if my story is not good enough? I mean, there are so many great stories out there. So first of all, let's focus on the thing. Well, I don't have many stories. Elliot just shared a great example of how you can turn whatever that's happening in your day into a story. And when it comes to improvisation, if you decide to start looking up for stories around you, guess what? You are going to find them. So the first thing I want, if you're watching this, great. If you're listening to it as well, I want you to as simply as grab your phone, okay? Grab your phone if you'll have a phone, and look for an image, okay? So go to pictures, your photos, whatever, and then find a picture. And I've got a picture. I'm looking for a picture of Elliot where he's not wearing t-shirt, but I cannot find it. So I'm going to find. I've got a picture here.
I've got a picture
with
of
my
my
brother.
2 little ones.
Oh,
dressed up.
beautiful! So you see,
There we go.
there
For
we
those
go.
of you
So
listening,
and
I'm showing a picture of my 2 little kids. Yep. Go on.
and I'm
Keep
showing
going.
a,
I'm
showing
intrigued
a
where you're
picture.
going with
Okay,
this.
right. So I've got a
Go
picture
on.
here of my brother. Okay, yeah, I'm
You've got a
going on.
picture
I'm
of
carrying
your
on.
brother.
No, there's nothing like that here. People, if you're curious about what picture means, just look it up. And so now I want you to tell me, Elliot, and as if you were believing that you don't have many stories, I told you to find this, and I want you to tell me a little bit about that day when you took that picture, or when you received that picture. Did you take the picture? Tell me a bit more about what happened with that picture that you looked at just now.
So you want me to tell a story about the picture of you and your brother?
Okay, so you want me? Okay, then I'll carry on
No, I'm
with me
asking.
and my brother.
I'm asking.
What?
Is that what it is? I'm confused. What are we doing? I'm
I don't
telling
know.
you the
What are
picture
we doing?
of my kids? What are we
Well,
doing?
we are
Because
okay. We're improvising here, as you can tell. What I want you to do for people listening to this, watching this, and you don't know how to find stories, you're not too sure how to start building the muscle because it's a muscle. Then Elliot picked up his phone, as I was saying, and he showed me a picture. And then I've got a picture of me and my brother here. So what I could turn this image into a story. Simply, here's an
yes,
example.
absolutely.
So, okay, cool. So I woke up that day. And you know what? I didn't really feel like doing anything. I didn't really feel like going out, like, meeting my brother, because one thing, and I love him to bits, but there's one thing here, and I like to say, working with family can be a pain sometimes, but then it can be a pleasure. And that day we had this opportunity to get together, to get some shots done of the businesses we run, and we went and met up in Oxford. Beautiful place, by the way, for those of you who haven't been there. We spent the whole afternoon. That actually turned into a very productive day where we actually planned what our year was going to be like, the business and everything else. And we ended up having a couple of drinks.
I love you.
And I love you back. And in the end, we finally just went home and everything else. And we ended up with this great memory. Okay, this is just a story I've just improvised by looking at a picture. So simple. You can begin to find stories everywhere. You can, get them off your phone. I could tell you a story about my coffee. I could potentially look at Elliot's background and tell you a story about the map of the world that he's got behind him. Whatever, if we're looking for these things. And then there is the purpose. So because then we can start looking for stories, and it's not to say that it's going to be a good story, that's a different point, or that we can use it in our presentation, but at least you begin to build the muscle of storytelling. Think about Elliot. When you meet the certain people, I went to a show about a month ago, engineering show, and I started speaking to this guy that is the MD of an association of machine tool builders, and he only spoke through stories. And it was super engaging. And I just, I couldn't stop the conversation with him because it was a pleasure, very much emotionally engaged and everything. So there are people that you can actually realize they're sharing stories and you can learn from it as well. The stories are everywhere. If you take it to another level, our mind is creating stories of our reality continuously. So stories are everywhere. Then what I want you to think about, and then I pass on the mic to Elliot, is how you're going to use the stories to illustrate the points in your presentations, or the stories into your keynote, or even if it's just your pitch, whatever that's going to be. Over to you, Elliot K. Stories are everywhere, and it's just like the song, stories in the air, everywhere you look around, stories in the air.
Stories all around us, and when you see my toes. See I did that.
I like it. Or
Stories all
never-ending
around us,
story.
and so the feeling goes.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Oh,
so,
yeah. Okay.
Look, what you're saying is true. You can use imagery to produce stories. You can use props to produce stories. Of course, you can just Google a theme right? You can use Google and look at what comes up and use that to construct a story. You know, in one of the trainings I've done, which you've attended, I do the dice of storytelling, where you use dice, you know, you take an existing story and you roll the dice and you look to incorporate what's in the dice. There you go. You've got them two now, and they're storytelling dice, and that adds an absolute different dimension to it. Is that a bus? I can't see. Well, you're a bit fuzzy.
Yeah.
That
So
a double decker, right?
explain this process a little bit, Elliot, which I think is amazing. It's beautiful, really, and I've been using it.
Well, there's two ways you can go about it, right? You can roll the dice and improvise a story around the dice you see. So if you see a bus, a banana, a baby, I don't know why I'm only doing bees, a bus, a banana, a baby, a bean, and a bamboo shoot, right? Then you would tell a story about a bus, a baby, a bean, a bamboo shoot, and a banana. And you would just have fun improvising the story. But equally, what you could do is take an existing story. Let's say that, you know, Jose just told about his brother in Oxford, and he'll talk about they went to this special place where they had a special coffee bean, and the coffee tasted that much sweeter because of the conversation they were having. And then his brother was a bit hungry, so he pulled out a banana. But next thing was a crying baby, and the baby was getting a bit loud and stuff like that. So you just happened to have a bit of a bamboo shoot in your bag, and you showed him the baby the bamboo shoot, and he really found it really funny, and he started to play with the bamboo shoot. Right. And so what you start to do is you start to add different layers, and it allows you to bring in angles or props or context in a way you didn't think. Obviously, using the dice of storytelling is also a great way to add metaphors. So, for example, we could turn those into metaphors and go, you know, as I was saying there with my brother, and we were talking about the future, we knew we both wanted to be the coffee bean. We wanted to be the influential ingredient which changes people's minds, colors, a bit like when you put coffee bean in water, it changes the color to brown, right? So whatever happens, if you add a coffee bean to a substance, it changes the color. That was us. We certainly didn't want a banana skin, and we didn't want to like fall on our asses. So we want to make sure we had a good strategy, and we want to be solid like bamboo. We want to be absolute solid, and we want to make sure that our roots are deep. But if you try to bend us or pull us, sure, we'll go with the wind, but you'll never break us. And of course, we wanted to treat our business like a baby, right? We want to make sure it's nourished, it's cared for, but it grew strong. So by using various props, you can add different elements and different metaphors. And this is one of my things, and one of my geniuses is taking this stuff. Go, watch about. That's what I do when I do it. And that's a great way to improvise. So you can find a story and add through use props, add dimensions. You can add color, sound, element, add characters, and that allows the story to develop and grow. Something might happen as you're telling the story, a plane flies over, a car, and you incorporate that. And then that becomes something like, as the car drove by, it's about being expansive. I think what happens is there's a lot of people, what they do is they expect to write a best-selling movie story from the word go. They expect to drop the next Star Wars, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, you know, whatever. The next boom, trust you to bring in Superwoman, right? But these things take time to develop. I don't know why people think it's any different when it comes to speaking and storytelling, right? It has to go for a story, for a process of evolution, of growth. And a lot of people go, well, I had to go telling stories and it didn't come out as the best-selling thing, and I clearly can't tell stories. I'm a bad storyteller because I couldn't drop the next, Bridget Stone's Diary or the next Narcos. So I'm clearly very bad. I'm very, very bad. Very
Superwoman.
Or Superwoman.
I do like Superwoman. Well, people.
So there you go. That's my take on storytelling and improvisation. What do you think?
Yeah.
So I love it. Well, just so you know, you may not know this, or if you're a regular listener, you will know that Elliot is in charge of all the commands and everything else, the sounds and all of that. So I always most of the time I get the boos and he gets the yays. Anyway, that's why I need to sleep sometimes. People, what did you think? And I love you right back. And I'm going to be sending you that love you, te amo en español. Te amo.
Good stuff.
Look, what we've done together is a great example of what you could be doing when it comes to your storytelling. And Elliot complemented. I started, and then he added what he calls the different layers, and then you start painting that story in the mind of your audience with more detail and everything else. Most importantly, yes, especially when we start with a story, it's not going to be the finished product. It may not be great, but then practice, work on it, because that's going to make it, more powerful. And I always like, when it comes to the stories, I have 3 buckets, and I was sharing this today. I've got the bucket of the stories I like, the ones that are working, the ones that are landing, the ones that I'm improving in a way because I'm always working on them. Then I have the okay bucket when I actually place the stories that, you know what, not great, but maybe I could incorporate a few things. And then the crap bucket with those stories that I share, they didn't land, I didn't actually feel. What do I put in the crap bucket? Is that your question?
Yeah.
Well, all the stories about me and Elliot, every time I've been out with Elliot, that all of them go to the crap bucket. What I've learned from Elliot, with Elliot, the podcast, all of that
That's just
goes to the crap bucket.
There you go. Say hi.
So is that Emily's laughter?
No, that's not Emily's laughter. That is the laughter when you tell a joke about us. That's how funny.
All right. Okay. That's how funny it is. Hello, Emily. Oh, she cannot hear me, can she?
She can't hear you, no.
Well, hopefully I get to meet Emily soon.
You will.
Because
this is called improvisation.
Hey,
she's waving to everyone on LinkedIn and YouTube and wherever else this is going live. This is my wife.
That's Emily. He's a lucky man. Yes, he's lucky because he has me in his life. He's got Emily. He's got Elijah.
Ariella.
Who else have you got? Ariella. I was gonna go Elisa. There we go. No Elisa, but Ariella.
No,
maybe you have Elisa coming next.
I'm only Elisa. So what are you saying? So tell us about the crap bucket where you crap. Is that true?
I mean, I do go to the toilet, but that's a different story. I put them in the crap bucket, but yeah, I may just throw them in there. Everything that has to do with Elliot K. Yeah, I mean, we're a bit feisty today. There we go. It's because we haven't seen each other in a while.
What do you mean today? We're feisty all the time. Right? So yeah, it's all good. So before we start to wrap up this episode, let's do it.
Is it me or is it you? If you want to book Elliot or myself, all you have to do is find us on Google. That's one angle. If you want us to speak, if you want us to coach you and your team, if you want us to deliver training, if you want to join the different sessions we are delivering regularly, Clubhouse, whatever that might be, the easiest way is to type our names, Elliot K on Google, Jose UCAR on Google, or you can look at our websites as well. Mine is www.joseucar.com. Elliot, yours is
speakerexpress.co.uk. But also you can follow us on Instagram on the Public Speaking Expert Show, where you have access to us. You can book in a call, but you can also have access to resources. We advertise the podcast. We also advertise our Clubhouse rooms. So just reach out, follow us, leave us a review. And if you send us a review that is really, really positive, we will send you a copy of my book at this point, because Jose has started on our book, haven't you, Jose? But until then, I will send you a copy of my book for anybody that reads a review and DMs us a shot of the review. Till then, we shall see you soon. And I will leave you. I'm not leaving you at all, actually. So, Jose, what are we concluding? So here's the thing. Stories are all around us, and so the feelings go. A bit like love is all around us, and so the story goes, right?
And stories in my fingers, I feel it
in my toes, yeah. And the thing is to get creative, that's why people are creative, is to find different ways to layer them, to use different aspects, use props, use images, take bits of other stories. Now, of course, it depends on the story you want to tell. There's a difference between telling a story and lying. So we're not telling you to lie. We're telling you to add layers, to add dimension, add feeling, add color, add sounds, add characters, which helps magnify your ability to tell a story as a speaker. Jose, over to you. We haven't decided, by the way, who's sponsoring this episode. That's okay.
Well, this is being sponsored by Elliot. Is going to tell you in a moment, right after this bit here. Or you can tell us right now. Tell us who's sponsoring.
No,
you are sponsoring.
No, after this bit. You said after this bit. It's after this bit. I can't tread on your bit. It's your bit.
Oh goodness, man! This is going in so many different directions today, and I love it. Right. What I was going to say.
Couldn't
I was
help
going
it.
to say, I love you, Elliot K. Yes, exactly. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I cannot help what I'm about to say about you right now. Well,
That's supposed to say
story.
no. That's hilarious. Go on.
It's like a frog, actually. People,
It
you will
is.
find stories everywhere. You will find stories everywhere. Start looking for them. And if you're thinking about presentation that you're going to be delivering, a talk, whatever, apart from thinking about the audience takeaway and the different points you want to make and how you're going to illustrate them, then think about what kind of stories you can begin to incorporate in there. So it's just building the muscle. It's like going to the gym. If you decide to look for a story or create or come up with a story on a daily basis, imagine how powerful you're going to be in a month's time or in a year's time, or in the way Elliot is smelling his armpit, in case you're not
I know. It looked more. I
listening
was
to
looking
this.
for my muscle
That's
to see if it was there.
that's
It's not really
exactly. He
there,
was
is it?
looking for his muscle. He couldn't find it. Then he ended up, smelling his armpit. And I hope it does smell good, because otherwise Emily
Smells
wouldn't be there.
amazing.
Anyway, so look for the stories,
Yummy
work on the
armpits.
stories, and then ask people for feedback, because then you can see how they land. I call this the pop
The smelly armpit.
test. Even though I'm not going to pubs anymore, in the past I would actually share with my friends, look, I've got this story, what do you think about it? And then see how it lands. Start trying them
They'd be
out.
like, "Cállate, Jose."
Cállate, exactly. I don't want to hear your stories, or say tonto, whatever that was. So people, I'm done with this. Not with this in terms of the podcast. I'm done with Elliot K. We're going to be recording another episode today. And this is all, I think, is payback, because I didn't turn up last Monday because I decided to sleep.
This
So,
Monday.
hey, well, it was last Monday. Well, exactly. Well, this Monday, this
Monday.
week. It's Thursday today.
Not
Yeah,
last.
this
Last
week.
Monday is last week. This Monday.
Oh, there we go. So even what? I mean, but it was in Spanish. You said last Monday, el lunes pasado.
But this isn't
It was
Spanish.
this Monday.
This is English.
Well, I want
Last
to say
Christmas I
last
gave
Monday.
you my heart, but the very next day you
Last
gave
Monday.
it away. Who's complaining?
Okay.
This year,
Is that Mariah
I'm
Carey?
saving my tears for someone special. It's that simple. So this Monday.
Well, and it may happen next Monday as well. So be careful. So people, love you very much. I'm done speaking.